Welcome to the 10 Yards Back Rugby League YouTube channel for this, my 6 again episode for round 9. Now, as we stampede towards round 10, I just wanted to remind you of a couple of the talking points from round 9 so that you can see whether they come up again. Hopefully not for some of them. Welcome to this glorious morning as the sun creeps through my window. I just want to remind you that if you're sick of seeing the sun, there is another way. Head over to Spotify, 10 Yards Back on Spotify, and X. I'll probably be dusting that off at some point in the future, so get in there while you can, get in at the bottom. All right, my 6 again for round 9. It was a bit of a settle round, wasn't it? So I'll be honest, I was clutching at straws a little bit for a 6 again because there was a lot of off-field action, some on-field action, and as you know, I like to mix them both up. So my number 1 this week on my 6 again is, why is Arthur Mourgue so hittable? Now this is the story of it's raining reds, raining cards really in that Leeds Hull KR match on Friday. Two teams that aren't really known for their ill discipline, yet the game had twice as many red cards as the rest of the season combined, which is statistically true, but it's misleading. There were 2 red cards in that match and a yellow. I'm going to show you all 3 and discuss all 3 because in my mind the yellow might have been worse than the reds. So what I'm going to do, so the first card that we had was Jack Sinfield. It was about 3 or 4 minutes in, and it was pretty egregious. Basically, he's in the defensive line, he struts up to the attacker, fucking gives him one, and then just walks away. You know, play kind of like it was going to start to resume. So I'm not sure what the video ref said in Chris Kendall's ear, but it stopped anyway. And if you look, as he goes in, his arms are by his sides. He's not intending to wrap. There's 2 other massive, Oledzki's in there, somebody else is in there. He's no intention of making that tackle really. He was just kind of there for support. He fucking has a little dig and walks away. This mitigation rule that gets you off a red and puts it down to yellow. Now, I've been pretty sort of skeptical about this in the past. I think it's a two-way street and I can't decide which side I'm on. One side of the street is, look, if Arthur Mourgue is a runner who runs, with his head down like he kind of tends to do sometimes, getting the speed, you can't count that as mitigation if you can see that the guy is bent double and you fucking hit him in the head. Equally though, if you're going to bend double so that someone has less purchase to tackle you with, I think that's also a bad thing. So I think it needs to be the loss of height, and on that one I just don't think there was much loss of height at all, to be honest. It was literally just he was low. All right, the second one, it's Suaso Su. I think this was about an hour or so into the game, so I think this one's less egregious because the attacker in this case is Sam Lasoni, who's a big fella. So he's coming in, he's doing a big stampeding run. So Su just comes in to lend his mighty weight to the tackle, and he just kind of gets it wrong. Now again, the reason for the red and not the yellow is because he didn't wrap. Now, I think if you read his lips, if you read Chris Kendall's lips, he's quite mad at the fact that you didn't wrap, which is fair enough. I think you're not allowed to shoulder charge. You're definitely not allowed to shoulder charge to the head. But if you look at his body language afterwards, there was no intent behind it, because he does this thing and he kind of just sticks around waiting for the play of the ball. He didn't think he'd done anything wrong. Now that, of course, doesn't mean you shouldn't get a red for it. But I think that there used to be this thing of intent, back when we were privy to all the disciplinary actions. I don't think there was any intent in that He hit him in the head. All right, he got a red for it. I think that one was pretty rough. Now the last one is Ash Hanley on the old punching bag himself, Arthur Mourgue. So did you realise at this point, after this incident, Arthur Mourgue has 2 red card offences against him, which again is twice as many as anybody else in the league, and he's got a bunch of yellows as well. So he was the first red card of the season. Cave cussed, launched himself at Arthur Mourgue's head. Now Ash Hanley's about to do it, and I just wonder, why is he so hittable? No, if you watch this at full speed, it looks terrible. Hanley just goes in, like you still see him there in the background. He's down, he's hurt. He's on his face, which is a bit of a, it doesn't, look, I'm not saying he's not hurt, but I don't think he failed any HIA or anything like that. And he's holding his face, which is like a football technique, isn't it? For, oh no, I'm crying. So full speed, it looks bad because it looks like the 2 collide, he fucking knocks him out and then gets out of the way. If you watch it slowed down, it doesn't really look that bad at all, to be honest. The 2 collide, he walks off. It actually kind of looks a little bit like Mourgue sort of leans his face sort of into attack, which I'm sure he wasn't doing before anybody says anything, before one of you two says anything. But I think if there's ever mitigation, I think there was mitigation there, because he kind of flopped into the tackle with his beautiful French neck. So the cards themselves, talking points, all right, 1 game, 2 cards, the next viral sensation, or 3 cards rather, they got yellow as well. The reason I'm bringing it up, really, aside from the virality of it, is what the disciplinary panel did with these offences. So the first point is the points that they got. Sue got 0 points, no charge. You're all right, Sue. Get out of here. Go play at Magic Weekend. Sinfield got 3 points, grade B, right? Grade B, hit the head, 3 points. It's not a ban. You know, you need 8 for a ban, I think. 3 points is fine. Hanley also got a grade B, but he got 2 points. And I thought when this disciplinary system came in that it was gonna make things clear as to how the severity of people's punishment for their discrepancies, the bad behaviours, whatever you want to say. I thought it was going to make things clear. Now, a grade B was supposed to be 3 points, not 2 to 3 points, or 2 to 4 points. A grade C is 5 points. So if a grade B can be 2 or 3, can it be 4? Can a grade C be 5? Can a grade C be 4? Can a grade D that's 12, can that be 11 or 10? I mean, that's still a ban, but it's not a 3-match ban. I don't know. It seems like this whole disciplinary points thing, they made a big bold statement with it. This is the way it's going to be, and they're sort of backtracking. Now, people got half points. Like, I thought you kept them for a year. Why are you halving people's points now? I don't know. This is something that I'm probably going to harp on for a long time. So get used to it. All right, number 2. Number 2 is the Thewlis penalty. If you're watching Thursday night's opening game, where Saints were really taught a lesson by the Warrington Wolves, the wire. There was 1 point in that game which was kind of the opening of the floodgates, really. If you're watching, it was quite close up to this point, I think, if I recall. There's a kick, so Warrington decide to do something clever. They dummy the kick, take it downfield a little bit more, so everyone's a bit scrambled, everyone's wondering what to do. Now, I can't remember who kicks it. Russell puts the kick in to the corner where you've got, I think, Murphy and Sambu on the wing there. Now, Thewlis runs to chase the ball. He's entitled to do that. Sambu is also, looking to get that ball. If you look at his body language, where he's actually looking, he's always looking at the ball. He might take a little look over his shoulder. I don't know. The fact is, here, Pulis intentionally runs into him. Now, I understand, like, the commentators will say occasionally, "Oh, he got his side a penalty there. Good for him." I'm not necessarily a fan of that. I don't think you should get your side a penalty. I think an infraction should be made and a penalty should be awarded. Now, watching it, I was dead mad at this at the time because I hate this. I've seen this once before. Mikey Lewis did it last year at some point, and it stuck in my mind because it's absolutely egregious. If you change your, because he didn't have his hands up for the ball at that point. He simply shoulder barges Sambu in the back. So what's he gonna? It's not like he's doing anything and he was interrupted. He saw where Sambu was and went for him. I don't know. Maybe I'm biased here. Maybe I need to go check myself. But I don't like this kind of dive, because that's what it is. It's an absolute dive, and I don't like it. So hopefully I don't have to talk about it ever again. All right, number 3, Neon Dion. So this is a bit of an off-fielder. Dion Cross joins St Helens. This has been talked about for a while. So the rumour mill has been spinning for a while on this one, and it turns out it's because the deal has been building up in the background. So Dion Cross, centre over at Salford Red Devils. Obviously they're going through some troubling times at the minute. Apparently he's a St Helens lad, born in St Helens, played for Blackbrook, I think. Prestigious amateur rugby league team. Came through the academy for a little bit, so it makes sense, I guess, that Saints would want to welcome him back. The fact is, this deal has been in the works for a while because Saints were making offers on transfer deals that Salford were kind of rebuffing. We don't want that. The article that I read, I don't know how true this is, said that the offer that was made was 30 grand. Hey Saints, that's not enough, man. They're in trouble. Stop it. They're in trouble. Give them a bit more. You know what I mean? I feel like it's one thing for all these clubs to say, "Oh, it's terrible what's happening at Salford," and then offering them a fiver for a player. It's the same with Sneed. That when Sneed went to Warrington, they boasted that it was for a 5-figure transfer deal. It's like, hey man, pay more. It's Mark Sneed. It's Dion Cross. Neon Dion. Which I'm all for names, but Neon Dion is clutching a little bit. I get it. He glows on the pitch. He's bright. He's white hot. He's yellow. But for me as a chemist, it just means he's unreactive. He doesn't get on with other people. So that transfer fee that was offered, that's been in the works for a while, never got paid. And it never got paid because the RFL, for some reason, sought legal counsel and decided that this deal's dragging on for a while. Salford are in financial trouble. We're just going to deregister him from Salford's player list, for Salford's eligible player list. So Saints, when he's a free agent, just snapped him up for nothing. Obviously they got to pay his salary, but they're going to go, come on, it's St Helens. And that doesn't really sit right with me. I feel like if I was Saints, I would want Saints to at least chuck them the 30 G's that they were the paltry offer so they can buy themselves a beer. I don't know, but Dion Cross is coming to Saints. I think he should be eligible for Magic Weekend. We'll see if he plays, because Saints have got a bit of a problem in that centre position. So we'll see. Can Neon Dion shine like magic? All right, next one. This follows on from the penalty incident that I said earlier with Pulis that I've forgotten all about. It was a valid penalty. I'll leave it alone. They chose to kick that penalty. Pulis kicks his own penalty. Good lad. The reason I'm bringing this up is because I've only ever seen this happen 3 times, and it's 3 times recently, and they all happened to Warrington, where everybody on the field is convinced that the kick goes through, except the linesman behind the posts. You watching this back, even the commentators go, "Hey, he's got it through. Oh, Dave Woods does a pretty hilarious about face on it, actually. He goes, oh, I thought that went through. Oh, hold on. Shit, I'm on telly. All right, no, yeah, the linesmen were in the best position on the field to judge that one. So yeah, it's just weird. Obviously, Thewlis there kicking because Mark Sneed broke his eye socket, which is a pretty rough go. So he will be missing for a while, along with his other halfback partner George Williams. So Warrington are going to be in a bit of trouble there. Who's gonna step up? Thewlis is obviously a very good kicker, so they'll be fine in that regard. All right, this is another on-fielder. It happened a couple of weeks ago, and I mentioned it a couple of weeks ago. We have Matthew Laguerre going down the wing. Believe it or not, he was on the wing in this point. This is Catalan versus Wakey. Dramatic golden point finish. Matthew Laguerre going down the wing. Linesman, lines lady, lines person. Tara Jones puts the flag up. He's in touch. Flag is up. Flag is up before the ball is down. So the flag is up. The lines person doing their job, saying, nah, sorry, I'm chalking that off. You have to chalk that off. Yet they still go to the video ref and they still spend a minute of time. A minute, it was like 57 seconds, I timed it, reviewing whether or not his foot went into touch. And for me, that's what the lines people are there for. So I guess maybe there's an interpretation that can say the lines person is there to make sure that the video ref is consulted. But that's not the way it works midfield. You know, if they put the flag up midfield, that's a captain's challenge if you want the video ref to interject on that one. So why is it down the line? I don't know. Like I said, I'm getting old. This whole video ref thing is getting to me a little bit. I'm becoming a little bit less sympathetic towards these long video ref breaks. I don't know. The flag goes up, it's chalked off for me. I'm sorry. Keep the video ref out of it. All right. Number 6, coming on home on this shorter 6 again. Weird post-match interviews. So this weekend saw 2 pretty weird post-match interviews for me. The second, actually, chronologically, was Matty Peets after his Tide's victory against Hull FC. So Wigan get that vindication. They smash Hull FC. But let's be honest, it was a beating. So Wigan beat Hull FC. Matty P, the victorious, jubilant coach after the game, is interviewed, and he just could not give a shit about that interview. He's like, I think at one point they, whoever was interviewing him, I can't remember, asks, so do you think Wigan are the best team in the competition right now? And his response is, not really, no, not really. Not really is such a shit answer, isn't it? That's like if you're having an argument with your missus and you said, do you want to go here? And they said, not really. That's way worse than a no, isn't it? Because it's not really. So it's, on one hand, it's less commitment than a no, but it's more thought than a no, because you put the not really in there. It's like you're biting, you're asking for something. It's a little bit passive aggressive. Matty P, I don't know, maybe he had a Barney with his missus the night before. Maybe he stubbed his toe on the way to the interview. I don't know, that was a weird one. But the one I really wanted to mention is there was a post-match interview with man of the match, rising superstar, Guillermo Aspero Bichet, GAB, I'll refer to him as from now on. And the poor guy, he's just played a game of rugby. Obviously he's knackered, as it is, man of the match, obviously put a stint in. Walks over to the sideline, and his English isn't great, but it's better than my French, for sure, better than everyone's French. And he's just trying to understand. You know, there's quite a crowd there at the weekend, so he's having trouble hearing at first. So he's sort of like pointing to his thing, and there's a moment where you see him say like, "Oh yeah, my headset's not working. I can't understand it." And then someone fixes it, and you see a look in his eyes that goes, "Oh shit, I wish I hadn't have fixed this." Because it's one thing to have a poor understanding of English, which I don't think he does. But the commentator was using like loads of colloquialisms. Like I think one of the lines that he said was, "And do you think you'll still have a run out in the side after this?" A run out in the side is not proper English to use with someone who's clearly not fluent, but is doing a damn good job at answering your stupid questions whilst exhausted. There was also a something that I love. I really love this as well. In that, just all contained in that little 2-minute section, when his headsets weren't working, he's kind of like looking, classic, looking. There's like a fella from, I don't know, Bolton or something, comes on and does the old, instead of saying, well, it's not working, yeah, I'll check it for you, don't worry. He goes, it's not working. Oh, I go and check for you. And he like does that like French accent, even though he's speaking full English, he's speaking his mother tongue. He can speak English perfectly well, but he does like a French accent just so that GAB can understand him a little bit better. Anyway, clutching of straws a little bit maybe on that number 6, but I thought after those, you know, the Castles game was a good one. That was a little cherry on the top there. The Wigan one, I was just blown away. I was just confused, like, what's going on here, Matty? Is it your birthday? Is not someone eating your birthday cake or something? All right, that's my 6 again for the week as we build up to round 10, magic round of the Betfred Super League 2025. There you go. It all kicks off there on Saturday with Lee versus Catalans. Quite a late kickoff, that, isn't it? I always thought that they started at about 1, but I guess they're kind of planning for travel or whatever. So that's where it is. I'll see you again next week with my 6 again for a magic weekend. Enjoy, everyone.